Welcome back to this summer series, How to Start Your Teacher Business from Scratch. We have our mind right. If you don't, go back and listen to last week's episode. Even if you're not a mindset person like me, I promise you need it. You need that pep talk, okay? So today we are going to be starting with what I believe is the best first step for any teacher business owner, and that is creating educational resources and selling them on Teachers Pay Teachers. Okay, so I'm going to tell you why I think TPT is the best, give you a little math to show you that yes, you can make consistent income with TPT, and how you can get some more training from me throughout the summer. The reason why I love Teachers Pay Teachers is because you don't need a website, you don't need an audience, you don't need followers, you don't need any funnels, you just need to sign up for Teachers Pay Teachers and start uploading resources. Now, it's not quite that easy, but it is a lot easier than a lot of other ways that you can make money. And listen, I like multiple different streams of income, and I think that's a great thing that you should do. And we're actually going to be talking about that throughout the summer. But I think this should be your first stream of income for a lot of reasons. So let's talk about that. Why I love TPT. There are three main reasons why I love TPT. Number one, you don't have to have an audience or a website to sell on TPT because they already have traffic. TPT is the number one educational resource site, and thousands of teachers go to TPT every day, credit card in hand, ready to buy. Yes, they may be looking for freebies, but that's okay, because if you upload a quality freebie, in fact, your first resource has to be free, they see that your freebie is super valuable, then you might get a repeat customer and they're going to come back to your store and buy other things because your freebie was so valuable. So that should tell you, don't upload just some random one-page worksheet for a freebie. Give them something good. Like, don't be stingy, be generous. The more generous I am in my business, the more successful I become. So be generous with your freebie and just know that you don't have to drive your own traffic. TPT already has the traffic. So that's the number one reason. The number two reason why I love TPT is because they handle customer service. So if someone leaves you a 1-star review, which is a bad review, because they don't know how to open a PDF or unzip a zip file, both of those have happened to me, okay? It happens. TPT will first remove that review, and second, reach out to that customer and help them with their tech issue. I love that. Now listen, if someone leaves you a negative review because you have a typo in your product, then they're not going to remove that because that's a legitimate review, right? And if that happens, it's okay. That's also happened to me. It's not the end of the road for you, I promise. Just have someone check over your resources though, okay? And then the third reason why I love Teachers Pay Teachers is because they collect and remit sales tax for you. So digital product sales tax. First of all, you're selling digital products on TPT because you're not physically mailing them something, right? So it's digital. They download it from the internet. The laws around digital product sales tax are so confusing, and every state has different laws. So thankfully, a couple of years ago, TPT started collecting data on what state or country is that person in, and then what laws does that state or country have, and then do we need to collect sales tax, and they do it all for you. So it's incredible. It's just one thing off of your plate that you don't need to worry about. Let's do a little bit of math here, because you may be thinking, okay, well, TPT sounds great and all, but I'm only selling products for like $1, $2, $5. How can I actually make consistent income? And that comes from making sure that you're uploading quality products as much as you can. But let me just show you a little math, okay? So let's say you have a resource that's $5 and you sell 10 of those a week. That's $50 a week or $200 a month. Or maybe you have a bundle that's $12 and you sell one per day. That is $360 per month. Now imagine that building month after month as you upload more and more resources. Hey, that can pay for a bill or kids sports or a guilt-free coffee every morning before school. Yes, and please. So it can build income over time. And just to be completely transparent, I earn about $5,000 per month from Teachers Pay Teachers, and it's pretty passive for me. It was completely passive for about 3 years, and then I haven't uploaded a product in years, but I did do a few updates. I had another episode about that back in the end of 2024 and then early 2025. I updated my store, and then recently I have started an email list for my TPT store, and I'm teaching other people how to do that this summer. So very fun. What about other platforms? Because I know that there are other ways that you can sell resources. So let me tell you why I still think TPT is the best, even though there are other options. Let's talk about Etsy. So I feel like there's a lot of misinformation about TPT's fees versus other platforms' fees. In fact, I got a DM the other day on Instagram and someone said, I heard that on TPT you only keep like 5% of your earnings. I'm like, what? Where did you learn that from? That's completely false. So let's just get that out of the way. TPT with the premium account, which is $60 a year, which is very inexpensive. And you might be thinking that's not inexpensive, that's expensive. When I tell you the fees of the other places that you can sell, you're going to believe me, okay? So I'm saying it's inexpensive compared to other options. Now, if you're just not going to sell at all, then yeah, like compared to paying nothing and earning nothing, then yeah, it might seem expensive. But compared to other options, let me just lay out the math. So it's $60 per year and you keep 80% of your earnings. And you might be saying, well, why does TPT keep 20% of the sale? They are bringing in the traffic for you and they're handling the customer service for you and they're collecting and remitting sales tax for you. They got to pay their people. So I am glad to give them that 20% for them to take care of that for me. Okay, so 20% is not bad for all that they offer. Now, what about Etsy? Etsy, the way that they have their fees set up, it is different than TPT. They charge you per listing that you have. So it's a listing fee. TPT doesn't charge you per resource. Etsy does. So it's just a different structure. But I actually got on ChatGPT and did some math, me and ChatGPT. She's my BFF right now. And I said, okay, let's say that I have 300 products. That's about how many products I have in my store, by the way, on TPT, and 300 products on Etsy. And I sell this amount of products. What would my earnings be? And it was very similar, TPT versus Etsy. So you might be thinking, well, why not sell on Etsy? Listen, you can totally sell on Etsy. It's fine to expand, but start with TPT because Etsy, it's not 100% teachers. Whereas the traffic on TPT is 100% teachers, tutors, homeschool parents. They are all going there to buy your thing. On Etsy, they're going there to buy teacher printables and also like handmade, vases and whatever else, dresses. There's all kinds of stuff on Etsy. Also, it's harder to get found on Etsy the way their SEO is set up. You also have to handle your own customer service on Etsy. So there are different kind of like little quirks that Etsy has, which makes them not my favorite for selling teacher resources. Not saying you can't, but start with TPT. What about your own website? Selling on your own website, then you get to keep 100% of your earnings, right? Yes, but so I sell on my own website. I have a WordPress site. That just means that's where I host my website. And I use a plugin called WooCommerce to sell my resources. Both of those are free. Now, setting up my WordPress site was not free because it's very complicated. I don't code or any of that. So I paid someone to set up my site. Then it is free to sell my resources, but I still have to drive my own traffic. So just because you set up a store on your website doesn't mean you're going to make any sales, because who's going to find it? It's not like TPT where teachers are already going there. It's already a reputable site where you already have traffic. On your own website, you either have to run ads, which costs money, or you have to pin, which costs you time, or you have to blog, which costs you time. So you have to get your own traffic. And listen, I get a lot of traffic to my website because I did a lot of blogging back in the day and I did some SEO things. I don't do that anymore because I don't have the time, but I get like 30,000 hits to my website a month, and I make a tenth of what I make on my TPT store on my website. So even with all that traffic, I'm still not making very much money. Again, I'm not saying you can't do that. I'm just saying don't start with that. What about Shopify? So Shopify is like a storefront that you can set up. Shopify is $30 per month, whereas TPT is $60 per year. And with Shopify, and also with selling on your own website, I forgot to mention this, but you still have to drive your own traffic, and also you have to handle all customer service and you have to handle sales tax. So like on my own website, I have to pay for a third-party service to look at the data of where people are coming from, where they're buying from, and then see, do I need to collect and remit sales tax for that specific state, because every state is different. I use Qderno for that, and it's an additional fee. Hopefully you can see that TPT is the best place to start. If you want to get some more training on starting and growing your TPT store, then I do have a free challenge coming up. You can sign up for that, lindsaybowden.com/challenge. That's lindsaybowden.com/challenge. It will be a 3-day free challenge where you are collaborating with thousands of other teachers and tutors and homeschool parents from around the world and learning what to actually list in your store and how to list it the right way so you make sales. All right, I'll see you guys next week.